I've done it. I've completely revolutionized chess content on YouTube. Introducing the new, amazing, very original content format titled Trying to Estimate Players' ELO Values by Analyzing Their Chess Games. It's a working title. So I found this website called Guess-ELO.com and we're just gonna play it. It should be really fun. Alright, game number 1. We get to pick between 455, okay, so barely chess, 1127, 1438 and 1938. Alright, not too high elo. E4, C. Oh, Sicilian. I really hope this is not the 400 game. I heard the Sicilian is great. I always play the Sicilian. Knight f3, g6. Oh boy, the hyper accelerated dragon. One of the coolest sounding openings. d4, c takes d, knight takes d, bishop g7. Are we gonna see the Maroczy bind? Knight e3, no! Alright, first moment. So in a lot of Sicilians, right, in the mainline dragon, black here will play the move knight f6. Why does black here play knight f6? You can make a lot of possible moves. Well, one of the downsides, let's say we play a move like pawn a6 here. One of the main reasons why this is not played first is because now white has the option to play c4. Why is this such a problem? In the Sicilian pawn structure, one of the main ideas black has is to eventually play for d5, which is now really difficult. Why does black want to play d5? Well, essentially one of the drawbacks of the Sicilian is that you're giving white a lot. You're giving white an advantage in space, you're giving white an advantage in development, but your position has a lot more long-term strategic possibilities. But once you allow white to set up the Maroczy bind, they're going to have a solid space advantage for the rest of the game. Now, that being said, I don't expect any one of these ELO ratings to per se know this with the white pieces, because this is an uncommon sideline. Knight c6, so there's obvious pressure here, and white chooses to defend. Alright, more development, we see the capture. This capture makes a lot of sense in some lines, although it does strengthen black's center and allows d5 to be played a bit easier, but it's certainly not bad. So far I've not been given a lot of information actually. Alright, bishop c4. This move makes a lot of sense. The bishop actually stands quite good on this diagonal in a lot of lines. Alright, castles. Okay, queen d2 tells me a lot. I mean, we can probably all agree this is not 400 ELO chess, right? They've not won a piece yet. This is completely sensible. e6 is horrible. Alright, why am I saying this is so bad? Well, your pawn structure sucks unless you can immediately play d5. That being said, it is tricky. Like, if white just castles here, you get to play d5. Black stands really well. Though I'm a bit concerned about... What do you do here? No, but seriously, what do you do here? The rook is hit, so you can't just play d5, right? If you take back here, I just draw back. I'm up an exchange. If you go rook e8, I'm sure we can either play e5 or bishop d6. So yeah, e6 is a horrible move. I'm surprised it's not even denoted as a mistake here. Then bishop h6. They just played queen d2, then e6, then here. They had real tunnel vision on this idea. They really wanted this, so they played it. Oh, but both 11 and 1400 can have this kind of tunnel vision. Queen b6. Your whole position screams for d5. So I don't know why we're not playing it. Now, what I would play here... I would either play e5 or I would take and play e5, but this move has to be played. Like, you really want to punish black for not playing this move earlier. I don't like castles. Worth noting here, black has the option to take, which is a bit of a problem because after recapture, this destabilizes the knight, meaning that queen b2 is an actual possibility. Previously, this is really not that scary. The knight is well protected, so the queen can be immediately kicked, and this is hardly ever worth it. d5, which is apparently an inaccuracy. I don't know why. This is obviously bad. Pawn takes, bishop b3. Yeah, I don't know exactly why we're going to b7. Maybe a6 makes some more sense, or do you want bishop d7? Alright, knight a4. So, queen c6. Alright, we're setting up a battery. Let's see if black has tunnel vision. Take, queen d4. Alright, they want e5. Let's see what happens. They go there. g5. What? What is g5? And then knight c5. Bishop c8. Why would you do this? Oh, horrible. Queen here takes... Pawn e5, rook takes, and white wins on time. What is the time control? 5-minute game. This game was horrible. On this moment here, it could be any one of these above 400. e6 instantly makes it so it's not the 1900. White's having such clear tunnel vision, and then the moves were somewhat logical though. But then g5 makes no sense. Oh, I know why Batman chess struggles so much now. I'm gonna say 1100. What? No, this was way too bad. Why does a 1400 G5? Oh, that's awful. 500, 1000, 1500 and 1900. E4, E5, knight C3, bishop C5. This is a line. D4. What? Bishop takes, yeah, free pawn. Bishop d3. Black takes. But here's the question. Did black take because they had a reason for it? Or did they take because they could? Let's see. Take, take. Knight f6. No, but like... Queen to h5. What's the idea? Why would you do this? You're not even like scholars maiden. Okay, so black takes and we don't resign. Knight h3, castle. I'm terrified. f4. I'm really thinking this might be 500 ELO chess. In d2. So we took. I mean, you could take back. You could at least try not to lose. Yeah, take. Why? It's not a real game. No sentient human being sat down to play this chess game. Okay, knight takes pawn. Because you might as well. Okay, knight. How many points of material has this knight captured? The knight went out with 9 points of material. 10 points, 13 points, 16 points of material, 17, 18 points of material. This side captured 23 points of material. And it's still alive. I can't, sorry, I can't do it. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Okay, 4. Oh, this is why now they can capture material. Oh, thank God the carnage ends. Oh! Okay, g3. Great take. In d1. Dude, just checkmate. Just checkmate the pork. He's already dead. Just mate. Okay, pawn takes. King e2. Oh, we're just shuffling the king back and forward. It's a draw! No, but like 500. Can I go lower? No, but like, of course. I had to take a day-long break after that one, but I've recovered. I don't want to be just a giggly mess. Let's hopefully go through some actual game analysis. So it's between 1300, 1700, 2000 and 2600. Wow. E4, C5. Oh, another Sicilian. Beautiful. Knight to f3, pawn e6. So you have a lot of Sicilians. You have e6. You have d6, you have knight e6, those are the main ones. You have a lot of offshoots like a6, knight f6, g6, queen c7, everything. Even b6 is a Sicilian. But these are the 3 main ones. And e6 means that's either going to be a Taimanov, a Khan Sicilian, a 4 knights, or some French-esque lines. On d4 we play the open Sicilian, and a6 or in the Khan. The difference between the Khan and the Taimanov is that you start with putting the pawn here on a6, so you don't have to deal with any knight b5 lines. Knight c3. Alright, we had options. We could have played a Maroczy, but compared to the accelerated dragon, this Maroczy here is not as much a refutation. And that's actually one of the hard things if you want to learn to play these Maroczy bind formations. Every Maroczy is completely different. Like the Maroczy bind in the dragon is different than in the Khan or in the... It doesn't matter. In the O'Kelly. They have very similar themes. Like very often in the Maroczy bind you get these b5 pawn breaks, which is often a pawn sacrifice. Of course not immediately, but the way you actually play them, especially with the black pieces, is vastly different. Alright, instead we see knight c3, queen c7, pawn g4. Ooh. Bishop b4, bishop d2, knight c6. So far so good. Knight takes knight. Pawn takes back. So the decision to capture here does imply that you need to play for e5 to develop your bishop. While b takes might seem a bit more passive, but allows for this quicker d5 pawn break. It honestly doesn't give you much information which way you take. And now we see queen f3. Yeah, this makes a lot of sense. I think the only question here you ask yourself is if you play a move like f4 first, but then this tension might be a bit annoying. That being said, the immediate line, pawn f4, bishop takes knight doesn't work. She can just take back. Queen takes pawn. Here the rook gets trapped. So that's kind of funny. I have no idea how to judge this yet. e5. Long castles. That's Very sensible, actually. Bishop e6. Wow, this is a good game. I have nothing to commentate on. Pawn a3. Yeah, this pawn was, of course, hit. There are funny ways to lose here, though. So queen f3, pawn e5, castles, bishop out. This is, of course, other nonsense, but a very fun pattern to know is if you think you're trapping the bishop here, then uh-oh, checkmate. But like I said, that's obviously other nonsense. Yeah, a3, bishop c5, knight e2. Oh, hey, that's funny. We see this move. Knight e7, knight g3. Oh, this is called an inaccuracy, but I think this is just the most sensible move in the position, right? So I'm actually going to look at it with the computer real quick. Let me turn on Stockfish, because it calls knight g3 an inaccuracy. Why? So it really wants g5 or like h4. Did we just castle on, right? Yeah, that's the top line as well. Bishop h3. Okay, so after some improving moves, what does the computer want? Okay, so this is positive tension, so we'd rather take back with the knight, of course. And white does want this exchange? Okay, I'm very confused by this play. So the engine presumably wants to open up this diagonal to trade off the line square bishops. So why is h4 then also fine? Is it because we played g5 here? In b8, bishop h3. Yeah, now we can actually dock the exchange. Oh wow, b3. I'm just gonna play with on computer chess. Castles, bishop e2, queen b6, rook f1. Alright, and the bishop takes a post on d4, which is very natural here. Black clearly has a lot of attack in initiative. So maybe that's why this is inaccurate. So the computer wants to bail out with g5, bishop h3 to quickly trade off the bishop pair, and the knight on e2 can stay guard in the d4 square from the bishop coming in, coordinating with the queen on b2, which is an idea that white misses and then continues following the plan initiated with g4, which is to play on the queen side. As a result, black gains a lot of initiative against the white king. Wow, alright. Bishop c3, pawn c5. That makes sense though. I mean, we're weakening squares, but you're not ever getting the knight in there. And the capture seems horrible. Like if we're opening lines, then I feel like this only strengthens black's attack. Knight f5. Alright, but we're gonna instantly take this, of course. Captures. Alright, knight c6. By the way, I'm really thinking this is gonna be the 2600 rated game so far. Bishop c4, f6. Another inaccuracy. Alright, so f6 is inaccurate. If it's not, I suppose we're weakening this pawn slightly. Maybe there's some rook g1. And of course, we can't defend this pawn with putting a rook on g8. We can still defend the pawn with the rook on d7. Bishop e6. Alright, we're just improving the bishop. King b8. But I presume the engine wants rook g1 first. Oh, wait, you can't block with d7 because then bishop... Oh, I'm an idiot. But in their defense, this is only move 20 and they played this in like 1 second. Rook g1 now, queen c7. This is of course now the only way to really defend the pawn. Bishop d5. I think this move makes sense. Take on c3, we take with the pawn. I suppose capturing does have the added benefit of strengthening d4. Alright, pawn c4, rook d7. This idea makes some sense. Bishop e6. Now we trade on the d line. Rook d8 is forced. Pawn h4, knight c6, c3. Still, we have to keep the knight out, of course. Queen a5, targeting the weaknesses. So king b2, yeah, essentially the only move. Rook takes... Yeah, okay, because we don't want the queen to have to, but the knight's also defending. I suppose it doesn't matter that much. We're surrendering the file, though. Queen drops back. Queen h5, pawn h6, queen e8. The engine says this is a draw. You can see the evil bar over here. However, I don't think this is easy for black at all. White is a lot more active. King a7, bishop d5. Yeah, we just keep prodding and poking. Knight a5. Honestly, this game could have been played by Magnus. Queen a4, queen d8, king c2, queen b6, pawn f3. Just these slight improving moves. Queen goes back to d8. Yeah, and this is the problem. White is at such a dominating position. The engine might say it's equal. You have no play. There's absolutely nothing you can do. And you might point at things like the doubled pawns, but these are not weak at all. In fact, they're even very helpful to fight against this knight. And black is the only one with weaknesses. Like the black king is weaker than white's. That's a backwards pawn here. This pawn is a bit weak. It's difficult. Bishop e6, knight c6, bishop back to d5. White's also shuffling. Knight e7, queen b3, knight c8. Blunders made in one. Yeah, white played a beautiful game. And here I thought black stood better, but white defended quite nicely. Now our queenside play suddenly makes a lot of sense, which forces some passivity. This is a very edgy decision, but it makes sense from the perspective of playing against this knight if you're convinced black has no play against this weakening of your pawns and king, which requires a very large degree of confidence. So that alone makes me think it's way above 2000. I mean, I'm in awe. I couldn't play a chess game like this, so 2681. 1. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, that was some high-level games and some terrible games. YouTube thinks you like this video. You should watch it. It's pretty good. I tried my best. Okay, bye-bye.